Honestly, I never thought I would say it, but I found a new phrase coming out of my mouth, which was, we need the hydration break here.
The only positive we can say is that we are through, but it's provided more questions than answers on it.
Every game, the defence looked like they've never met each other before. That's because every game we've got a different back four, and they've never really had a cohesive time playing together, any of these defenders. I just don't think Spencer's got any right to be in it. He hasn't got a right to be in the squad, and I don't think he's got a right to be in the first 11.
Why is Dan Burn in the squad?
He won't have that.
Come on, he's there for vibes. 6'7" Geordie, mate.
Do you want to win or do you want the vibes?
Time.
He's like,
mate,
tell him to work in a fan
that team.
Duke will just win the games and shout, please.
What do you guys think of this? Flex was wearing a Mexico shirt.
Traitor.
Hello, welcome to Inside England, sponsored by BetMGM. Download the app or visit betmgm.co.uk. 18 plus, gambleaware.org. Please gamble responsibly. I'm Ollie Klink. The Chuckle brothers have left me. They're in Mexico, but just like Tommy Tuchel, I've gone to my bench. There's not much depth, but I've got two absolute game changers. Joining me is Dan Bardell and CJ, usually the deluded Gooner. Today, the deluded Three Lions. How are we, gents? How are we doing, CJ?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I mean, we're through to the next round of the World Cup. It was filled with anxiety, but we're through. I'm sure we're going to get into it. I'm in good spirits, man. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, Dan, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, obviously, sat there last night at one point and thought, what is this show going to be like? Because I thought we were going to go home at certain points during the game. But yeah, special teams like Ivan Toney today, ready to do the business.
Yeah, we've just got to talk about my usual two co-hosts, by the way, particularly Flex, right? Because he landed in Mexico City. Both of them gambled on the fact that England would get through. So I bet they were sweating a bit last night when it was 1-0 for quite a long time against DR Congo. But what do you guys think of this? Flex was wearing a Mexico shirt.
Traitor.
When he was watching Mexico in their game against Ecuador.
Yeah, I didn't know Flex had gone to Mexico to watch England. I just assumed he was part Mexican and had some Mexican blood in him or something because, yeah.
I think that's ridiculous, right?
He's a traitor, man. Flex, he shouldn't be wearing a Mexico shirt, man.
Should he be banned from inside England?
He should be banned from inside England.
He should be banned anyway, I reckon. But yeah, ridiculous. Let's get into the game then. Oh, it was a stressful watch, wasn't it? My word, that was a stressful watch, but England got the job done. Dan, what was your key takeaway, do you think, from that performance and result?
Well, if you listen to Declan Rice after the game on talkSPORT, he couldn't understand why we were stressed, but I imagine 100% of the country was. It was a disastrous start, wasn't it? Like probably 5 mistakes lead into that goal, accumulating in like poor goalkeeping from Pickford. You can't dress it up. He'll know himself. He should have done better with that. I think the game plan kind of goes out the window when you go a goal down so early. I think England, if they'd have scored early, they go and win that game pretty comfortably, maybe 3-0. But to go one down, you're kind of doubling your workload because we know when the game's set at 0-0, like England sometimes make hard work of games like that. But to go a goal down and know you need two to progress, like obviously we got there in the end. But I think there's an element of fortune and an element of you just have the greatest centre forward on the planet right now as well.
CJ, that first 25 minutes, I honestly, I never thought I would say it, but I found a new phrase coming out of my mouth, which was, we need the hydration break here. We really do. And honestly, we did.
We needed it. We definitely needed it because we needed to calm down. Like Dan's alluded to, obviously, it's always terrible to concede an early goal. So we're naturally filled with a lot of anxiety. And I just feel this whole tournament we've played with anxiety. Of course, as I just said, you've conceded early. You're playing against Congo, who's having a fantastic tournament by their own standards. We're making life more difficult than it needs to be. Culmination of errors leading to Pickford conceding. Do you know what? The second 25 minutes, I had this element of calmness that we was going to score. Of course, their keeper played a blinder, but then as the game's going on, it's getting a bit stale. It's side to side. We're putting hopeless balls into the box. And it just highlighted that we're fragile defensively. We're still kind of winging it and relying on individual brilliance. Big fan of Declan Rice. Think he had a good game. Big fan of Elliot Anderson. Think Elliot Anderson stunk up the place. If I'm honest, I was crying for Kobe Mainoo to come onto that pitch. And I just think that game highlighted to me the lack of variety in the midfield options that we have, the lack of smart decisions, I would say, defensively. Like, I don't want to get on to Spence, but I think he played absolutely terrible. I think Nico O'Reilly was a bit so-so. The only positive we can say is that we are through, but it's provided more questions than answers, Ollie, man.
On that then, let's go through our winners and losers. Let's start positively. Let's go with the winners first. Who are you going to go for, Dan?
Well, obviously, I know you're going for Harry Kane, and that's obviously what everyone's going to do, isn't it? Because he's a
cheers, ruin that.
You go first. You do your Harry Kane.
Sir
first.
Harold Edward Kane is who I'm going for. Look, I mean, to be honest, for a lot of that game, I actually thought he was a bit anonymous. He actually frustrated me a bit at times, not necessarily because he was dropping deep. I don't actually mind that. It's quite key to how England play. I just felt there was a few occasions where Madueke or Rashford would get down the wing, they'd swing a cross in, and there was no one in the box, let alone Kane. And so I was getting a bit frustrated by him. And then he just pulls it out of the bag, as always. And that finish for the second goal is absolutely outrageous, the pace at which he hits that ball. And look, you could sit there and go, England are pretty reliant on Harry Kane. He's already got 5 goals at this World Cup. You know, he's overtaken Pele now in terms of World Cup goals. He's on 13, Pele on 12. You know, he always turns up, I feel, for England in these tournaments. And I don't know about you boys, but I kind of don't mind that we rely on Kane a bit. You know, when you look at the best nations, you know, and this is going across the history of World Cups, it's about individualism sometimes. It's about certain players sometimes carrying their teams through tournaments. So to sit here and say we're relying on Kane, it feels like it's a problem. But actually, for me, I don't really think it is, because he always delivers.
You should be relying on him. He's the best centre forward on the planet right now. He might not be as aesthetically pleasing as the likes of Mbappe in terms of carrying the ball, but only he can do the things that he did for England yesterday. That second goal, the way he struck it,
world class.
The keeper didn't even see it. Like, the keeper didn't move. He's only seen it when it's hit the back of the net.
It looks good, that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I love that.
The way he curled in as well, like the swaz on it, is absolutely incredible. Like, he is the best centre forward on the planet right now. I think he scored over 70 goals now in club and international football this season. There is just nobody like him, and yeah, he deserves all the plaudits.
Is he the best England player in our lifetimes? Obviously, you've got that squad from '66, which is so hard to compare to because, of course, the boys brought it home. But with Kane, is he the greatest England player of our lifetimes, do you think, with what he's achieved?
I mean, you're both younger than me, so I'm assuming that you're
both
going to say. I assume you're both going to say he is, but I don't think I disagree with it. And the main reason for that is, okay, well, if you look back to the last Euros, like, he was evidently struggling. It was clear that he wasn't fitting. You know, we always seem to have this problem in every tournament that you're looking at one of your big players and they don't quite look right. They don't look fit.
Saka, this one.
Yeah, Rice a little bit, I would say, as well. Not even a little bit, I would say Declan Rice as well. Watching him yesterday, it looks like he's struggling.
His hamstring as well.
Yeah, Kane has been part of an England team that, without winning anything, has had an element of success. He's been the captain of those sides in tournaments as well. He's scored a bucket load of goals, as you've just said. Scored he's like between 30 and 40 more goals for England than Wayne Rooney. Like, he is next level. He is the best thing I've seen play for England.
CJ, you made a little face there when I said, is he the greatest England player of our lifetime?
Do you know what? It's one where I don't want to be hasty and say Harry Kane. I'd actually have to sit down and think. But as you said it, I started to think. And when you actually sit there and deep it and you think about Rooney and this one and that one, you know, I'm a big Rooney fan. Who's really done it for a consistent, the keyword consistent basis, numerous tournaments. So I can't disagree with that. It has to be Harry Kane. And, you know, going into this tournament, we know Saka's not fully fit. We know we're not necessarily convinced with the left-hand side. In that front three, he's the only answer that we have, and we know what he kind of does, and he stood up to be counted, especially in the knockout stages. That's been the only thing people have said about Harry Kane. When it gets to the business end, what are you kind of saying? And start as you mean to go on. Kane did his thing yesterday, and he's the reason we went through.
That's my winner. So who are you going to go for, Dan?
It's a bit of a weird one. I'm going to go for John Stones, because he hasn't really appeared since the first game. Had a bit of a nightmare against Croatia, which you'd expect. And, you know, England's defence has been a theme throughout the tournament. Where
another one not fit.
Yeah, every game the defence looked like they've never met each other before. That's because every game we've got a different back four, and they've never really had a cohesive time playing together, any of these defenders. But I think Spence's performance was so bad that he will have to put Konsa at right back. I think it's the only thing he's got left to do. And Konsa can do that. I've seen him do it loads of time for Villa, and I've seen him do it a couple of times for England. I think then Stones coming in, you'll have Konsa right back, Stones, Gahey, and whoever plays at left back. You'll build up with more than a back three, but Stones will have that freedom to step into midfield. And maybe that's what we're lacking a little bit in these games, a little bit of a distributor in the middle of the park. I think Stones can step in and do that. So I think he's going to come into the side. And if England progress, he'll then obviously be part of a team that's progressing through the knockouts.
Dan, just on Konsa, we know obviously you're a big Villa fan. Rory Jennings, a couple of times on this show now, the way he's described Konsa is that he's a very, very good Premier League footballer, but he's not international standard. Do you think that's fair? Do you think Rory does have a point there?
I wouldn't say he's not international standard. Like, he's a very, very accomplished centre-half and a very good one-on-one defender, got recovery pace, decent on the ball, like all the raw ingredients of a defender that I think you'd want. I think Konsa has most of those things. I think the issue stems from, have England got a top-class defender? Probably not. I think in the tournaments where we were good under Southgate, maybe, again, with the exception of Kyle Walker, we didn't have that top-class defender. But what we had was a centre-half partnership that worked in John Stones and Harry Maguire. Every game, England have looked muddled at the back. And Konsa and Gahey as a partnership for me, they're too similar. They're both good at the same things. You haven't got that dominant leader at the back. Yeah. So I just think England haven't got the makeup of that defence right. I don't think Tuchel knows what his best defence is, but then when they're dropping like flies every 5 minutes as well, that makes life even doubly difficult, doesn't it? So I think I get the point that Rory's trying to make, but Ezri Konsa's played in the Champions League, so I don't agree with necessarily what he's saying, but I take the point he's trying to make, and I think it's just an England problem on the whole.
Do you have confidence with him at right back though? In the international stage, like, forget the Premier League, like, international stage, you're playing against, let's just say we play France, where you've got the whole heap of attacking talents.
Yeah.
Do you have confidence in him at fullback there?
Out of everyone that's in that England squad, if he comes up against an Mbappe or a Vinny Jr., a Doué, he's the one I have. Maybe it's just because I've watched him every week for a long time. He's the one I have the most confidence in because I know he's a very good one-on-one defender. And I just think suddenly, I'm talking about units and stuff. If you suddenly have Konsa, Stones and Gahey in the knockouts, I think it's a better unit.
Start to be more cohesive.
Yeah.
Which we've been lacking.
What? So if it did work, let's say against Mexico with Konsa at right back, but then Reece James comes back fit or Jarell Quansah comes back fit,
I don't think you can rely on that.
Are we at the stage now where you do just have to stick with a 4 and keep it the same way?
No, put Konsa back at centre-half and bring back Reece James. We miss Reece James.
Then it's chopping and changing again, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm sorry. Do you want to play with Spence? Do you want Spence to go back to right back? He's more likely to do that in the second game rather than keep Konsa in that position. Like, he's hell bent on Konsa playing centre-half, rightly so. So if Reece James is fit for me, put Konsa back into where he needs to be. But yeah, man.
Also, Spence doesn't play another minute for you guys.
He'll play minutes, but
he can't. He can't. I don't want to pile on him because there's experienced players there that, if you're saying England didn't play well, you look at the players that are supposed to be the big players, the ones that, go for 100 million and we're saying are the best players in the world. I just don't think Spencer's got any right to be in that. He hasn't got a right to be in the squad, and I don't think he's got a right to be in the first 11. This is Tottenham's backup right back and left back here, playing in the knockouts for England at right back. And struggling with the fundamentals of the game, in all honesty.
Now, granted, he weren't alone for that first goal, but he's playing everybody on side. He's got no awareness of following his runners. We've all been following this England tournament. And again, I don't want to pile on to Spence, but we all see the clips where Tuchel is consistently talking to him in training.
He ain't talking to him.
Exactly. Shouting at him. I'm even being nice. Concentration's not there. If it can't be there at World Cup, you're in trouble, man.
There's no England fan that would have picked a 26-man squad and put Jed Spence in it. And
he's only there because he can play left and right.
Over Trent.
I mean, that's a whole different... We could do a whole show on Trent, couldn't we? It's laughable that he's not there. Yeah. Absolutely laughable.
Yeah. CJ, just very quickly, who's your winner from the game?
It's got to be Anthony Gordon, man. I've given him a lot of stick. He came off the bench. He helped get 2 goals. Fair play to him. Rashford was rubbish. Gordon was quality, man. That's my pick.
Yeah, I've given Gordon stick too, and he did do very well. And I'm pleased to see it. Of course I am. As an England fan, 2 assists. And I think the presence of mind, especially for the first assist, he actually said after the game, he said, usually I'd have cut back inside and had a shot. But he was like, and then I remembered I'm playing with Harry Kane, so I just lifted it into the area.
Well, in the dangerous area.
Exactly, and he's headed it home. I thought Gordon made a big impact. The one thing I would say, and it's a really interesting debate that I think, whether Rashford should start, whether Gordon should, because you can look at those games that Gordon started, and let's be honest, we were all crying for Rashford to start the next game because of the impact he made. It kind of flips on its head again because I thought Rashford was pretty poor in this game.
Terrible.
But you do start to think, are they actually of similar quality and it's just that the opposition is tiring and one can come on and make a bit of an impact? Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, but I think that's one thing you've seen in this World Cup. You can see congested, systematic football. When the game kind of opens up, particularly in the second half, we saw it with Gordon, we saw it with Bacola with France the other day. This is when these kind of road runners thrive. When you're in the first half and it's a bit of a cagey game and there isn't too much space, I think there's too much thinking to do for the likes of Rashford and Anthony Gordon. Like, if I relate it to Arsenal, how I feel about Gordon and Rashford is how I feel about Martinelli and Trossard. Whichever one one doesn't play is the one I'm kind of crying for. Then you obviously, and then you see what's kind of happening.
They're both impact players.
They're both
right?
impact players. And look how poor our wide options are. Like, Noni Madueke has been our best winger in this whole tournament, with the greatest of respect to Noni. I love him, but that shouldn't be the case. You've got half-fit Saka, you've got Noni showing up. Tomorrow, against Mexico, if Gordon starts, we might be crying for Rashford again. It don't fill you with confidence that we can go all the way, man.
That tells me it's a system problem, because do you not think what we're doing it's a little bit basic?
It's incredibly basic.
Relying on the wide players to stay high and wide and swinging crosses.
It's incredibly basic.
Like, for me, Thomas Tuchel's on £5 million a year. I don't care what nationality he is. He's been brought in to win the World Cup. At the moment, and I could be way off the mark by the end of the tournament, what we are doing, it won't.
We're not going to make it. Yeah.
What about Morgan Rogers, Dan? Do you feel like he's being used enough by Tuchel? He's obviously appeared in a few games. He started one, too. But when we talk about that left-hand side, Rashford was struggling. Was there a part of you, with your Villa hat on, maybe a little bit of bias there, thinking, yeah, all right, Gordon could come on, but I'd like to see Morgan Rogers because he can thrive there?
I think the left's his best position. But the way Villa set up and the way England set up, as we've just said, is completely different. So Rodgers, when he plays from the left for Villa, he's still playing as a number 10. He's playing as a left 10, dovetailing with the player to the right of him. Tuchel is wed to this high and wide winger, so that's not him, which means he's up against Bellingham. When you're trailing a game like that, you've got two players who are moments players, big moment players for you here in Kane and Bellingham. You aren't going to withdraw Bellingham and Rice. So unless he goes a bit less safe and he decides, I'm going to take off Rice, I'm going to take off Anderson, he moves Bellingham back and he sticks Rodgers in, Rodgers won't play. He won't get much football, which is weird because, I don't think it ever should have been a discussion because it's Jude Bellingham all day as much as I love Rodgers. But it was a genuine debate at the start of the tournament as to what he'd do.
People thought he'd be the starting one.
Yeah, I think I did as well. Even though I thought I was wrong, I thought it would be Rodgers. He hasn't been used in the way I thought he would be.
Yeah. Caesar, just quickly, obviously he's been linked with your Arsenal for a hefty fee, around, what, 130 million pounds? Do you think Arsenal should pay that for Morgan Rogers?
We probably wouldn't spend 130 million, but it's not my money, get it done. Morgan Rogers is a Bobby Dazzler, especially with what Dan is saying there about he could be a left 10, he can run in behind. I'm having Morgan Rogers tomorrow, man. Like, when you
130 million for a fellow who doesn't start for England.
Why not, man? Why not? But so many players. Lewis Skelly's not in the England squad. Like, and he should be. So I'm not going to use that rhetoric.
Yeah, what's he worth?
Right now, I'd say about 60, 70, 80.
Right,
he should be in the squad. Like, look at Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson needs to be dropped. If Kobe Mainoo's not going to be there, you should have had the option of Miles Lewis-Skelly. Why is Henderson in the squad? Why is Dan Burn in the squad? Like,
he won't have that.
Come on, he's there for vibes. 6'7" Geordie, mate.
Do you want to win or do you want to vibes? He mate. Tell him to work in a fan
that team spirit, mate. They're loving it. You know what?
I'm sure they are.
Dan Burn's there in his cowboy outfit. Bring the good times. Seriously, don't come for Daniel Byrne. Boys, let's go through our losers then from the game. Obviously, we will have touched on a few of them already, naturally. But who would you pick out, Dan? Who are you going to go for?
Not because I think he's a loser, and not because I don't think he's a phenomenal player. But for me, I said it earlier, we always got players in there that don't look fit in a big tournament, and for me, Declan Rice does not.
Oh, get out of here, man!
Right, listen,
get
out hear me out.
He was quality yesterday.
Hear me out. I'm not saying he had a bad game, but he just looks like he's struggling. He looks like he can't get around the pitch, and then to see him playing at right back, I just felt absolutely desperate.
Won us the game.
He did all right though.
No, I know he did, but don't you think that's desperate?
Do you know what? Just on that, that's quite interesting. Yeah, Tuchel was asked about that after the game and said, and they said, "Oh right, well you moved Rice to fullback." And he actually said, "Yeah, that wasn't my idea, by the way. That was actually Anthony Barry, the assistant."
He played one game there for Arsenal.
He played one game there for Arsenal when he moved there against West Ham, and
then he changed it again.
Yeah, and then he changed it back. And that's the thing, man. Like, people like Declan Rice, you're coming into this World Cup 50, 60 games off the bat before you've kicked a ball. You are spent, you are leggy, but
that would have been his 65th game,
and that's crazy. And then obviously he's probably going to have a tiny bit of rest, and then it's back to playing for Arsenal. You do have to raise in question player welfare in many a country for many a player, but the calendar's relentless. It's never going to get any better, man. But loser? Nah, can't be Rice. Elliot Anderson was way worse than him.
Is he yours?
I wouldn't go Elliot Anderson. I'd go Jed Spence. I don't want to pile on to the geezer. I do think you had some positive actions going forward, but you just look out of your depth. You weren't alone for the goal we conceded, but you're not covering how you're meant to. You just looked out your depth. You just don't look like an international level standard player, and I struggle to understand why you're in the England squad. I get the versatility aspect. I get the aspect that we're desperate. Reece James is injured, can't call on Kwanzaa, but Spence was a level below everyone. You could say Pickford could have done better for the goal. Admittedly, if I am saying Spence, you could say Elliot Anderson, because I actually think he had his worst game in an England shirt in a long time, because he's been quite good. But I'd have to, as a Sunday League fullback, I have to go with Spence. I don't think Spence was good, man.
I was watching Wan-Bissaka and thinking, I wish he was in England.
Yeah, it's chalk and cheese. It was night and day.
Yeah, so true.
Spence was rubbish.
Just on Rice and Anderson, do we need to choose between them?
Yes.
Do you think?
At least for some games, just have a bit of variety. Now, Tuchel could sit there and say to me, okay, it's got us this far. This is what I've bet on. I get it's in the engine room, but I mean, come on, there's not enough variety. There's not enough line splitting passes. Why do you think you see Kane does it anyways, but Kane's dropping all the way back. Bellingham's dropping all the way back. Your wingers are high and wide, which is great, but the ball needs to be able to go over there. Going back to what Dan said earlier, where you'd have Stones stepping into midfield, and I don't make Dan wrong, but realistically, in a game over 90 minutes, how much can we expect Stones to kind of do it? It's just, that's not their game to play line-splitting passes. There needs to be some variety for me.
This is where you got to look at the squad again.
Exactly.
He clearly does not trust the rest of the central midfielders. You couldn't ask Henderson to play 90 minutes in a World Cup. I understand why he's there, but you probably wouldn't want him on the pitch, in all honesty, in a game like that. And I just don't think he trusts Kobbie Mainoo. I just don't think he trusts him at all. He hasn't thrown him in, giving him minimal football at this World Cup. He just doesn't fit.
Who would your midfield three be then for Mexico?
Do you know what? I'm a hypocrite, because I actually feel, because of what I expect.
Rice, Anderson.
I think it has to be Rice, Anderson, Bellingham, because I do think Mexico, the energy levels, we're gonna be in a danger zone. I'm not sure I would start Mainoo in that game, but again, it's not always about starting. As we saw with Anthony Gordon, it's about your impactors. So if that kind of game plays out against Mexico, I need to see Mainoo on that pitch immediately. But I'd go Bellingham, Rice, and Anderson, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, and probably start Spence as well. Yeah.
I mean, who else are you going to start?
I thought the fullback, when you got Reece James and Nico O'Reilly at fullback, who are both very good at stepping into midfield, I thought we might see a little.
Yeah, that's enough. Why don't we invert
a
with
little
them?
bit more invention? But again, even when they were both on the pitch, it didn't really happen.
So conservative from Tuchel.
Yeah. What about dropping Bellingham back in like they did against Panama? Did that?
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that.
He just won't do it. It's not going to happen. There's no point even talking about it.
Yeah. All right, mate.
All right.
In terms of my loser, you touched on it as well.
Let's see.
Jordan Pickford.
Oh, leave him alone, man.
He's got to do better for that goal.
100%.
We all agree with that.
Yeah.
And I just think so far the tournament, a bit shaky. Just and not the Pickford we're actually used to. We're not the assured Pickford, the one making huge stops. I think he's rushed out of his goal a few too many times. I think his distribution's been quite poor. I think it was around the 18th minute in the game yesterday, in that horror 25 minutes of the opening of the game. And England were trying to play it around the back, and honestly, it was like watching the Southampton team that got relegated.
But is that Tuchel's fault? Like, why are you making Jordan Pickford play out from the back? When have we ever thought Pickford could do that? Like, when have you said he's a ball-playing keeper? So it goes back to Tuchel. Do you know your squad? Do you trust your squad? Do you have enough variety? I can't disagree with what you said about Pickford, but from what we're talking about, I can't have confidence that we're going to win this thing.
He's got credit in the bank for me, Pickford. Like, he should have saved it, absolutely, but I'd back if we're to progress that he'll have a big moment. He'll make a big save. He's been a great goalkeeper for England, and it comes back to, like, if you don't like him, great, but would you want any of the other two keepers in goal? I definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, very true. Interesting that none of us picked Tuchel as a loser from that game. Why is that, CJ? Why wouldn't you go for the manager?
Do you know what? As much as I've kind of criticised and been a bit bewildered by the tactics, I will be fair. He did correct his mistakes. At the end of the day, Anthony Gordon came on. He moved Rice to right back. I do think he brought on Eze.
That was Anthony Barry's idea.
Exactly. Well, either way, I have to the coaching stuff. He's got to listen to them, innit? So his changes saved the game, innit, really. And as an Arsenal fan, he brought Saka on and we won, innit? This is what it is. I can't say him.
How about you, Dan?
I think what CJ says is true. He rectified his mistakes. You could argue he got a little bit lucky, but the best managers that go through tournaments and win things, they have that little bit of luck as well. I was genuinely sat there thinking on about 70 minutes,
we're done.
He's what's going to happen here? We'll just give him a new contract. Like, we're going to get knocked out in the last 32, which if it had been Southgate, he'd have got absolutely annihilated. And, Tuchel would have done as well. I was like, he'd have to go if you get knocked out in the last 32. But I think he's just got an aura and a confidence about himself. So I'm not sat there watching us and thinking that what we're doing is good. But then when I listen to him, I think he does almost convince me that he does know what he's doing. Well,
I want to touch on a couple of things that he's said. Firstly, he was asked about the next game at the Azteca against Mexico, at altitude, of course. and was, you know, he was asked, "Are you prepared? You ready to go?" And he was like, "No, of course we're not ready. We won't be ready."
Keep that to yourself. Why are you saying
Is that a bit too honest?
Yeah. Why? And I know German managers tend to be that very honest, but that's one where just keep it to yourself, keep it internally. Give us the PR answer. Say that internally within the camp. That doesn't fill us with confidence because we haven't had any confidence, from the first ball was kicked in the World Cup to now. Like, Tuchel, you have to shut up and not say that, man.
He said it was impossible to be ready as well, Dan. Is he just laying it out as it is? Because let's be honest, he is right. It's a quick turnaround and it's at altitude. So, he is essentially just going, look, what do you want me to say? Of course we're not ready.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unbelievable get out of jail card. If we do get knocked out, if we do get knocked out,
that's
you
the
can
thing.
just turn around and say,
Does it feel like excuses already? That's what I'm trying to get at.
I'm not an altitude expert here, but it sounds legitimate to me, doesn't it? Like, I don't think it's an excuse. I think it's just a valid concern that he has, and in saying that we're not going to be ready for it, we're not going to be ready for it. So if people are surprised if we get knocked out because of altitude, he can turn around and say, well, I did mention it.
Yeah, you must have got a nosebleed. Ben Villa got top 4, mate. That's. I
was going to say maybe that's why Dan Burns there, the altitude factor.
Everyone gets on his shoulders and has a run. Yeah, he has a run. Maybe. Listen, the other thing I wanted to get into in terms of what Tuchel's been saying, and to be fair, he's been saying this almost the whole tournament, is this idea that England will be a lot better when they play a so-called better team, or a team that come out of its shell and try and attack us. What are your thoughts?
Can't go not do that.
This is a really good point, Dan. It's a really good point, because I think when you look at the Ghana game, that was the lowest of low blocks that you could see, because also they're trying to play, they can play for a point, not necessarily go on and win. It's not knockout football, essentially. So they were trying to do that. Were Panama necessarily in a low block? Not really.
That was a shaky start as well.
Were DR Congo in a low block? Certainly not for the entire game. They could have gone 2-0 up.
I was going to say that was a huge moment that we haven't even spoken about when Vissa missed that chance.
Yeah.
That would have
Luckily found his Newcastle United form at just the right time, Johan Missa.
That'd have been game over and we would have been on the plane home, man. That just sounds like a cop-out, man. Of course, if we was playing where I could see encouragement, then I'd feed into that. Okay, we're growing as the tournament goes on. Are we happy with how we defend? No. Are we happy with generally some individual performances, bar what we've been talking about with Kane? No. Are we happy about how the midfield's playing as a cohesive unit? No. Are we happy about the attacking unit? No. Are we still trying to figure out what Thomas Tuchel's England side is? Yes. So how can we get any confidence, Tuchel, about if you're playing like this, how do you expect us to have confidence against the Spains, against the Frances, against the Argentinas, maybe potentially Brazil? But again, Carlo Ancelotti, the one thing Brazil have done, they change things a lot quicker than us. He's talking nonsense for me, man. Tuchel, just win the games and shout, please.
Yeah, I think my worry is just how shaky that back four has been so far. And what you worry about is first 10 minutes at the Azteca, Mexico coming out the traps. You know, DR Congo, like we've just said, could have been 2-0 up. Can you imagine what Mexico could be? The only thing is, Tuchel seems to think that we're going to be like Keegan's entertainers, it feels like, and win each game, 4-3 or whatever it is, and we kind of saw shades of that in the Croatia game. The second half was a very good performance, and I don't know about you guys, but that's almost the one bit I am clinging to is England did look so good in that second half against Croatia. So maybe he does have a point. By the way, just very quickly going back to the game itself, should England have had a penalty?
Yeah. I mean,
on Harry Kane.
I mean, I've seen Kane buy those penalties against Arsenal every day for a number of years, man. So I think it's a pen. I think there is contact. I can see why it's not given. I can see why it could be given. Of course, at that point, we're trailing in the game. We're just clinging on to everything. It's just consistency, because that will be given in another game. I think it's a penalty, but it's a reach.
It's a byproduct of the process that the officials have to go through. If the ref gives it, there's no way VAR are overturning it. But because he doesn't, they decide not to. Yeah,
luckily he slapped 2 in the back of the net anyway, so it didn't matter. Just before we move on to our starting 11s for that Mexico game, we've got to talk about how good Wonderwall has been at the end of each game. I don't know about you guys, I'm really glad Sweet Caroline's gone. Just never felt right, did it?
Get it gone from the box as well.
Yeah, it never felt right. And I love the fact that all the players line up, they all sing it. Let's be honest, sometimes they're singing it louder than the national anthem. Yeah. And I think that connection, that spirit with the stands and the players on the pitch is just so important. And it's just been great to see. And actually, after a performance where, let's be honest, we were all stressed, there were moments in that game where you could hear the England fans very unhappy, a bit anxious, of booing at the performance, Actually, that connection at the end, I think, is very, very important going forward in this tournament, to make sure that the fans are behind them. And by the way, the fans were unbelievable yesterday. when they were back in the team, and I thought they were a massive factor as to why England went on to win the game.
Yeah, the ground anywhere we go, except for maybe the Azteca, is going to be full of England fans, isn't it? And it is a nice little thing at the end of the game. I mean, the players have got the frighteners on them for the national anthem because everyone's worried about saying Queen instead of King. But everyone loosens up, don't they, for Wonderwall. Like, when you've won the game as well, like, it must be such a great feeling. Like, Harry Kane does his little speech, and then they go out there and enjoy it with the fans. Like, stuff like that. Feeling that connection. I sound like Arteta, but it is important.
Do you know what I've been loving? Just watch Reece James. He doesn't know the words. He doesn't know the words. It's really good
for the vibes, man.
I'm not sure Reece James knows the words. A happy birthday.
Right, let's move on to that game against Mexico then. Who is your starting 11, Dan Bardell? Who you going to pick for that game?
I find this stuff really hard because I can give you what I think the 11 should be, but then...
Do that. Who would Dan Bardell pick?
I think me and Tuchel would have one difference. So I'd obviously Pickford, Conser, Stones, Gahey, O'Reilly, Rice, Anderson, Saka, Bellingham.
You start
I'd pick Rodgers and then Kane, but Tuchel won't pick Rodgers. Okay. On the left, it'll be Gordon.
Okay. What about you, CJ?
Pickford. If Reece James is fit, Reece James. If not, I'd move Konza and go with Gurhey and Stones. I'd go with O'Reilly. I'd actually, for Mexico, I'd go Declan Rice, Elliot Anderson, Jude Bellingham. I think Anthony Gordon, I think you've earned that. You impacted, you've done well. I'm going to give that to you. Kane picks himself. Noni Madueke, I don't think you really put a foot wrong. I don't really quite subscribe to Saka's anywhere near fit enough to start and playing against Mexico.
You seem to have really rated Madueke so far.
I think he's done all right. I think he's done very well. Don't get it twisted. He's incredibly frustrating, but has he played... For the starts, has he played better than Gordon? Probably, yes. Gordon's had better highlights. At the end of the day, he's got 2 assists. He's definitely played better than Rashford. He's probably performed a lot better than Kane, bar the goals, if I'm honest with you. He's been one of our more dangerous players. Yeah. Of course, Noni Madueke is incredibly frustrating. He has that... I call it busy versus being productive. You always want to take on your man and attack the space. You're going to excite fans on TV and obviously at the grounds, but you need to get goals and assists. It's mainly because I don't believe Saka is anywhere near fit, but there is going to be a point where Tuchel's going to have to gamble and say, do you know what, Saka is starting. It could be against Mexico. I'd probably lean towards starting Madueke again,
I agree with you on Madueke through the tournament. I think he's been good. He is frustrating. It's like when I play FIFA with the kids and you're flicking the like, trick stick. Like, I don't know what's going to come next, and I don't think Madueke a lot of the time knows what's going to come next, but he's hard to defend against.
I love with the kids, on your own.
If only.
I think with Madueke, it's funny, isn't it? Because you say he's been the best winger so far. It's almost like, strangely, that bar is quite low in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways. So yeah, potentially, but it's just been that end product and that frustration with him that you'll know very well as an Arsenal fan. And actually with Saka, I thought Saka was really good when he came on against Croatia, by the way.
Yeah.
I think it's harsh to say the whole tournament he hasn't looked himself. But again, a bit like that Rashford and Gordon situation, maybe you do want Saka as that finisher, as they say.
Do you play Rodgers off the right? And I only say that because where I'm looking at Rodgers signing for Arsenal, there's a lot, if he does sign, obviously, but there's a lot of talk about him competing with Eze and Odegaard in the 10. Obviously, you alluded to it, he can play off the left and do his thing. One thing that attracts me to Rodgers is I've seen him play a number of times for Aston Villa off that right-hand side. Now, if we relate that to Arsenal, I'd rather him play there over Noni. So obviously, relating it back to England, is he an option? We know Tuchel's probably not going to do it, but is that an option?
He just won't do it.
Yeah.
He just won't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He's just not going to do it.
Yeah. Inside Gooners is next week, man.
This guy's horrible, man. Arsenal are basically the reason we're here, man. Come on.
By the way, just very quickly on that.
Go ahead.
Declan Rice's delivery.
Did you celebrate the set piece he assisted?
Yeah, of course I did. Yeah,
okay.
Of course I did. Yeah.
Arsenal,
no, mate.
Arsenal the country, man.
I genuinely think, being an England fan so far, I think everyone, and I can't believe I'm saying this, has got this little inner Arsenal fan. That makes makes you overreact, over celebrate, and
oh, this guy, this guy, man.
And get overly annoyed when there's any criticism. I just think that comes out of you a bit, doesn't it? Yeah, but I mean, for you, it's just natural, isn't it? It's great.
I mean, I'm talking up Declan Rice. You're doing the pity party for Dan Burn, but I'm the villain.
Sorry, but honestly, on that, I did think a lot of the delivery was quite poor, and it probably speaks to what you.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It speaks to what you say. I just don't think he's fit, Dan.
The rest of the tournament, his delivery's been good. Like Croatia, I thought every time we had a call.
Should have had an assist yesterday, to be fair. But yeah, he looks knackered. crackered. He looks crackered. And you're going to be crackered if you're Declan Rice. Is what it is.
Yeah. Gents, I'm so glad I've used the bench. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's not hard to replace Flex and Rory, to be fair. But you've done a great job. Thank you very much indeed. That's it for this edition of Inside England, sponsored by BetMGM. Download the app or visit betmgm.co.uk, 18+, gambleaware.org. Please gamble responsibly. We will see you on Monday morning following that game at the Azteca against Mexico. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. See you later.